Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor on this kind of cloudy day here in Dallas. Kind of cold too, actually. Interesting stuff, though. As always, it looks as if it looks as if finally Apple seems to be making its move, and so that's kind of cool. I mean, we're definitely leading the Dow right now. And I did put out a chart school on that, so that's on YouTube, basically showing kind of the charts and how I'm going to be trading this. It's not as fast moving, of course, as Tesla, but kind of a slow moving stock, but good all the while. So basically, let's get into it with the charts. The market's still in a confirmed uptrend, which is good. We're up about 1.05%, or about 130 on the Nasdaq. The S&P's up as well, and the Dow Jones is once again over that 3,000, that 30,000 mark, which is so important. So that's kind of a good thing. That's a kind of a good thing happening. At least we still seem to have some pressure upwards. I do think that we may see a Santa Claus rally. I hope we do. I hope we have a little bit of a Santa Claus rally. It would be nice if we did. And that seems like maybe that's setting up. Who knows? So just wanted to kind of show you the chart for the NASDAQ composite. It's at 12,568 when this was taken just a few minutes ago. And it definitely is in an upward trend. So that indeed is a good thing, as you can see. It's sort of making that trend up. So we had a pullback last week, and then I think we're starting to turn the corner, hopefully, and move upwards. So that indeed is a good thing happening. Looking at the Qs, and basically the Nasdaq one, the S&P, excuse me. We are moving up as well on the S&P, so that indeed is good as well. A little bit off on the volume versus the 50-day moving average, but 45.32 up and about 1.24. Again, important news there, of course, is that we're going to start to see on the 21st, we're going to start to see Tesla go into the S&P. So there may be some buying on there. It moved up this morning, it pulled back, and I did do a small buy on Tesla this morning, not too significant. But it did pull back, so we'll see. Hopefully I didn't jump the gun on that. My the key level on that is about is about 645 to 650. I think if we get beyond that point on Tesla, then we're probably going to see it move higher. Very important point as well, that it's going to be going into the S&P 500 basically on the 21st. So there will be some institutional buying there, so that's a good thing. Also, wanted to show you Apple. Apple's made a nice breakout. Well, not really a breakout, but a move higher than a very, very key level. Of course, the key level being 125. It's currently 127.12. It's up $5 today, or about 4%, which is very significant in terms of things. I also did devote a chart school to that, and of course that's available on the the youtube.com the youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor website, and that just went up here today. So you might want to check that out as to how, a little more detail on the chart on how I'm buying that one currently. Just want to show you my current holdings. There has been a little bit of movement here. I'm still in Cloudflare, that's NET. I'm still in Tupperware, which is it's up a little bit, but it's still kind of struggling there. I'm probably going to be selling Tupperware soon. Blink Charging, I'm still in. It's up today, believe it or not. Progeny, it's up a little bit. This is a kind of a cool company. Of course, we're talking about Apple. Key point being, the key move being 125. Basically, I started building a position right below about 120 as it was showing some strength. So I may even double up on this position as well. Palantir is down a little bit, but it's still holding about 25, 26, which is important. This one, this is the Danish biotech company. It's down a tad, just about 0.2. Hopefully that can hang on there and see it move to the upside. Fiverr, definitely it's down a little bit, but I did increase my my exposure to Fiverr just based on the last few days. So hopefully that will be moving up again, as it was before. Tesla's off a tad. It's 635 again. The key level on Tesla is about 645 to about 650. Twilio is down significantly today, so hopefully that doesn't hurt too much. And I did enter a position in Neo. Basically, Neo did a reversal, and I did put a small, one full position in the small portfolio. It's moved up about $2.45 today, so kind of cool on that. That's sort of where I'm at in terms of my, my holdings currently. So, without further ado, let's get some questions here. And thanks for holding on. And let's see where we are standing. Okay, so let's see. Hi, Jim. I thought Neo was for the time being a no-no. What happened? Good question. What happened was a reversal. What happened was a reversal. And I want to kind of show you this reversal on Neo. I wasn't expecting this to happen, but every now and again we get a reversal, and that is a opportunity. And I'm going to show you on the daily chart here because you can't really see it on the weekly. And let's pull that up. Thank you for that. Basically, what happened here is that we were pulling back, we were pulling down, as you can see. Oops. Yeah, we were pulling down, and then we hit this low about 39. As you can see, then it made a reversal. This is the reversal candle right here. Okay, it made this reversal candle, and you can see it's up to the top of that reversal candle. It's not that easy to see on this chart, but it did make a reversal. So I decided to move into the stock on the reversal today. And as you can see, I did move up. It's moved down a little bit from where I bought it. I bought it at 43.44. So that's kind of where I was at. I'm kind of right even. Hopefully it'll work. I'd love this one to work because when this powers up, it can be pretty powerful. Still has a pretty good checklist, 7 out of 9, and we do have some funds coming into it, as you can see. So we have 528 funds, so that's terrific in terms of the number of funds. It's just kind of give you an idea of how many funds have been moving into this one. There was some news on Neo in that they are going to be they do have a deal in Europe to ship cars, so that's kind of cool. And these are the funds that are currently in it, and of course there's over 500 of these funds. So I did decide to take a little bit of a flyer, not a huge position. Again, it's in the small portfolio, so not as big as not as big as I normally would do on that. But let's see how it's kind of been trading on the 15-minute chart. Yeah, this is the 15-minute chart for for Neo. So let's take a quick look at it. Yeah, it seems to be pulling back towards pulling up towards the end of the day. It pulled up and then back, but there was a huge buying activity here on this spike at the end of the day. So I think that we may see some more action at above this 43, at above about 43. I'm gonna switch here to the 60-minute chart to give you kind of an idea of sort of where it's traded basically. For the last few days. So it's kind of moving up, and then I do believe, and I hope I'm right on this, that this is the beginning of a movement to the upside. You see, it was trending down, and then I do believe that this shows the turn. So let's take a look at the chart. Yeah, see, it's kind of hard to see it in here because of these candles are quite long, but it does. I do believe that there was a sort of a bottoming action here, and then hopefully this is a change in direction. We'll see if it is or not, but hopefully that's a change in direction on the candle, and if it is, then I think we'll start to retake that 21-day exponential line. That's what I'm hoping happens anyways. We still very bullish. Relative strength is 99. We do have an upward trending, and this is what I look at, this upward trending this uppercutting relative strength line against the S&P. So hopefully I'm right. Hopefully I'm right on that. And we do have quite a bit of buying coming in there. Now, not quite as much as before, but we do have some buying coming in there. So we'll see. We'll see if I jump the gun or not. Hopefully I didn't, and hopefully it's moving higher. Looks like Apple is on the buy zone now. Let's take a look at Apple. I've been in Apple for a while. I started building a position at about 118. This is the first time I've really been in Apple seriously since the 4-for-1 split on August 31st. So let's first look at the weekly chart to kind of give you an idea. It's going to be a little bit tough to see this on the weekly. Yeah, there we go. You see, Apple's in this consolidation range here, and it seems to have made a turn. So looking at the daily chart, I think we can get a kind of an idea on that. So let's look at that daily. Let's look at the daily chart for Apple to see if we have any kind of buy point. The key level here was right here at this 125.39. This is the key level here, and it did surpass that today. As you can see, it's moved up above that just slightly, and that's kind of was my signal that maybe it's time to get back into Apple because it has broken the trend. The trend was down here short term, but it looks like it's moving to the upside. So hopefully that's correct, and it is back on this trend here that it had for quite a long time. So hopefully that's the case, and if that is, I think we're probably good up until about 137.59. So 58, excuse me. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it in terms of the chart there for Apple. So I do still think, there's time to get in. It's a little bit extended more than I'd like it to be. It's not really a buy point, but there's sort of a pseudo buy point, at about 125.39. So hopefully that's about right. Okay. Question from TikTok. Can you talk about Palantir? Let's take a look at Palantir. And of course, I'm in Palantir. Symbol PLTR is the symbol for Palantir. Let's first of all look at the weekly chart to see if we've broken any trends or anything like that. We are down for the week a little bit. We're about $1 for the week, as you can see, $1.01, or about 3.1% for the week. As you can see, it's pulling back. It kind of seems to be making making a little bit of a stand here, right at about the right about the $25, $26 level. So that's currently where it is. On the daily chart, it is pulled back a little bit, but it seems to be settling in, hopefully, to a sort of a trend. This is kind of a trend line here. We're hoping that it's gonna follow this 21-day exponential. Now, there's a little bit concerning for today. As you can see, the relative strength line is pointed downward. That's not something we like to see. So it's not probably a good day to acquire a Palantir. It's probably not a good day to acquire Palantir, but I think overall, hopefully it won't reverse downwards. I think it's going to continue on this line. So we'll see if it reverses higher. Now, the best place, obviously, to buy it is when it reverses, and it's not quite there, yet. I did move a little bit back into the position when I was seeing the strength here, but we'll see if it holds that. I have tight stop loss, basically right at the 21-day exponential. About 2360 is where I have my stop. So that's sort of the stop is basically right there. So hopefully it doesn't pull back too much more than this trend line, and if that's the case, then it will hopefully move higher. So that's kind of Palantir. Not a really good, tactically not a really good place to buy it today, but I think it may be good later on. Hey Jim, what about RKT? I think this is Rocket Mortgage, I believe. Some of the mortgage companies have been doing really well. Actually, the mortgage company that you want to look at is called Mr. Cooper. A strange name, but but kind of a good, kind of a good stock there. Mr. Cooper is one of the ones you want to look at. But let's take a look at Rocket, RKT, and of course this is old Quicken Loans. This is old Quicken Loans. I think they had an arrangement with Intuit, I think, for years, but I think they've dropped in using their name. Now here's the chart for Rocket, basically Rocket Mortgage. Let me pull this out of the way here so that you won't see that. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So you can actually see Rocket Mortgage's company. Don't really like this trend very much. Let's look at the weekly first, and then let's look at the daily. It was a relatively new IPO, but it does not look like it has found love. So basically, we are in a downtrend currently with Rocket Mortgage. So this is not a stock you want to buy, at least not right now. The relative strength is only 10 on this. Not very, very good. We do have there are some bright spots. One of them, of course, is the increasing sales are quite good, 156 for the last quarter. So that is indeed good. And of course, we have about 44% fund ownership in it, which is good. And we do have a positive cash flow. So all those are looking good. But I just do not like this trend. The trend is currently down. It may have bottomed here. We may have seen it bottom. We're not sure yet. But in the IPO base, that's typically how it works. It will trade up, and then it will start trading down. And then if things are going well, then it will start to trade up again. So it's just too early. We just don't, the checklist is good, 7 out of 9, so that's very good. But, and the funds are quite good in this. And we do have Fidelity Contra Fund in this, which is an excellent fund. Now let's see what other funds we possibly have in there. Remember, it's the funds typically that make a stock go up. So the more funds you have, the better off you are typically. So we have some very good ones in here. Invesco, Fidelity Contra Fund, really like that. TIA, CREF, large cap. So everything is looking fairly good. I mean, it looks like the funds are, they're starting to, acquire this. But the problem with this stock right now, Rocket Mortgage, RKT, the problem with this right now is that it's on a downward trend. Okay, it's on this downward trend, which we don't like. It's got a low relative strength, and it looks like its volume is actually on a downward trend. So here's the thing I would recommend on this. This might be a watch list, but it is definitely not a buy for right now. So you don't really want to be in this. If you've lost more than 7% in this one, it's probably a good time to possibly, I don't know, cut your losses. I'm not saying that it's going to be a loser for forever, but for right now, we want to buy them. We don't want to. We kind of just want to come in to the stock as it's making a higher high, as it's starting to be, starting to be more seen on the scene. So with Rocket Mortgage, I think you're better off at least waiting and possibly watch listing it for a little bit of time before you get back in. So I don't recommend it right now. Less than 15 minutes. Less than 15 minutes, and here he goes live. Okay, well, thank you for that. Hopefully, you're going to see it. Kay Thomas, hi Jim. Thank you for everything you do. Hey, I appreciate that. I got in to AMD and making money right on, and I'm looking at Canadian Solar and FCAU, Fiat Chrysler. Interesting. I haven't looked at Fiat Chrysler for a while. Let's look at FACU a little bit. The legacy automobile companies, I don't know. But I want to look at the chart for FCAU. FCAU, Fiat Chrysler, and of course this one was one of the, oh, look at that. Well, that's okay. That's not necessarily bad. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's see if there's what there is to see there. So okay, it's not bad. It has a relative strength rating of 86. That's not bad. And this is what they call the golden cross. So this is actually very good. the 40-day line went above, as you can see, the 200-day line. You don't want to buy anything below the 200-day line, but now that we've come above the 200-day line, we might have something there. We're starting to see some profits. That's very nice. There was a bit of a loss in the January quarter, but in the June quarter, excuse me, but in the September quarter, we're starting to pick up some profitability. So that's kind of looking not bad, actually. And we also have increased, looks like, well, we're not increasing, but we do have quite a few funds in there. So let's kind of look at the checklist. It's got 7 out of 9, which is quite good. And we do have increasing fund ownership. Let's just see kind of its competitors, if we can look at our competitors. Now, it looks as if, this is very interesting, of course, Tesla is in there, and we've already covered that. NIO, of course, we've already covered that as well. Not quite as good at EPS rating. This one might be very good. So at 17.25, I think this is definitely a watch list. I'm not saying I would necessarily buy this right now, because right now I don't see a really good buy location on this one, because as you can see, the last time that we had a buy point was basically back here in about September, where we had a stage 1 at 13.15. But this one, this is actually not bad. Fiat Chrysler, FCAU. Now the question is, where would I buy this thing? Well, I don't know, but it seems to be moving very nicely up this this line here, the 10-day exponential. So I think you could actually buy this at 16. Wow. So I'm actually very impressed. Kay, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. I hadn't really been looking at Fiat Chrysler, but I think that that one might be buyable. Let's take a look at AMD. And I got, AMD is a funny one. I got shaken out of it, but it looks like it's up today. So, yeah, I think this is a quality company all the way around. The last buy point, of course, and I think you were right in the buy zone when you bought it, which is excellent. The last buy point on the double bottom, the stage 4 double bottom, 88.72. So I'm glad you're making money in this one. Definitely time to ride this one up. Now, here's the thing about this, Kay. Just start moving your stop loss up as this thing moves higher, and eventually it'll pull back, but you'll have made some good profit. So that's excellent, the fact that you are making good money on Fiat Chrysler. So let's take a quick look at another one that you're recommending, and that's CSIQ, which is Canadian Solar. So let's see if I can, let's see. CSIQ, is that right? There we go. Canadian Solar, beautiful. All right. Well, this one doesn't look bad either. You've got some good stock picking here. Yeah. Okay. So this is not bad. I like the formation of this. 93 on the relative strength. I'm liking that. We are seeing some sales growth. That is good. The question is, where could you buy this? Well, it seems like it's just marching up this 45-day the 40-day line. About the only way you could buy this one. It's not really a good place to buy it, unfortunately. About the only place you could buy it would be a pullback to this 40-day line. If it pulled back to 30, if it pulled below 39 and then reverses, then you possibly could buy it. Right now, we're a little bit extended at 42.75. So if you bought it here, it probably is going to settle down a little bit lower. It looks as if we're getting a little bit of consolidation in here. So to be really super duper buyable, you either have to buy it as it reverses below this 40-day line or as it moves above this almost 50-day line. So you would have to move to about 46 beyond that to buy it, or pull back and then reverse below about 39. But interesting stock. Let's kind of take a smell test on it. It's got a very nice checklist. 7 out of 9. I'm liking that. And we have pretty good ownership. It's increasing fund ownership. So, this is a watch list. I wouldn't buy this one right away, but this is not a bad stock either. Thank you, Kay. Thank you very much for sharing that. Those are two very, very interesting, good stocks. So let's see. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to try to answer for some people on TikTok. Thank you very much. Okay. What percentage of cash should one sit on in case of a crash? Well, okay. Basically, here's how it works. And that's a good question. If basically the way a crash works is that the market is going to move from a confirmed uptrend to an uptrend under pressure to a market in correction. Now, what do I mean by that? A market in correction is when the indexes, typically the S&P 500, falls more than 10%. So currently we're in a confirmed uptrend. Okay, now if you watch my show, one of the first things that I show you, and I haven't been showing you this as much as I probably should. The first slide, typically that I put up on the screen, is a little slide like this, and I'll show you this in just a second here when I get it up. There we go. Okay, and as you can see, when I first come up every day, I show a little arrow here. This arrow means that the market is in a confirmed uptrend. When the market is in a confirmed uptrend, you can invest up to 100% of your portfolio. Now, when the market changes, you will see a little yellow arrow. It'll be up, but it'll be a yellow arrow, and that means that the market is under pressure. The best thing to do when you see that is to go to 50% cash and 50% in stocks. Now, if you see a down arrow, a red arrow, then you want to go all cash and wait for another confirmed uptrend. So currently, the best thing to do is to set your stop losses at approximately 7% down from where you bought your stocks, so that if they pull back, you're sold out. And also, you can be up to 100% in cash. Now, currently, I am not 100% in cash. I'm not fully invested currently in some of my portfolios. I'm about 75% invested currently. So hopefully that will answer some of your questions on what to do and how much cash to have in the market. Okay, so great question on Rumor Full 100. That's Walmart, WMT. Let's take a quick look at Walmart. And of course, WMT is quite the company. And let's see see how it's doing currently. So first of all, we're going to go to the look at the weekly chart to see kind of if we have the general direction that we like, and it looks as if we do. Yeah, we do. We are a little bit under pressure. As you can see, this relative strength line, this blue line here, it is somewhat pointed down. We don't like seeing that. That is not necessarily good. Now, this is a retail stock, so but 52. This is a little bit lower than I like to buy them. Also, we can see in the last few days we've had some selling action here, so I'm not liking this. We do have some very good sales growth, though. Walmart just keeps pumping it out. It's amazing. But the question is, can we buy this thing? Well, let's look at the daily chart. This is not kind of the chart I'm wanting to see. There was a buy point here, but it was a failed buy point on this consolidation at 151.33. What happened is it moved up to that, and then unfortunately did not have enough power to move higher. It was going that way, and then unfortunately not enough power, and then it started this downward trend. If it reverses, currently it's at the 40-day line. This is a key indicator here. Now, if it continues on the way it's going, which is down, this is going to go lower, a lot lower. But my guess is hopefully it will rebound. I wouldn't buy Walmart right now because of this trend. The trend is down on this. We might see the next stop is this line here, and that is the 200-day moving average. Now, probably it will bounce on the 200-day as it did here. You can see how it bounces on that 200-day, and then when it comes to the 200-day, it's going to move higher. But currently, right now, Walmart, the trend, unfortunately, is downward. As you can see, this is a sort of downward trend Yeah, it's a downward trend. So it's not time for Walmart right now. We have a downward trend. Maybe you want to watch list it, but it's not a good time to be in Walmart. It's just not. It looks like it's headed lower, at least from what I can tell. All right. By the way, Apple looks really interesting. Can we expect 137 soon? Okay, well, let's look at the Walmart, the Apple chart again. And Apple has been asleep since, since August 31st when it split 4-for-1. I mean, that's the last time I was in it. Again, if you've been watching this channel any amount of time, you'll know that, coming into the 4-for-1 split, I was recommending, people sell their stock, accumulate the stock, let it ride up, and then sell it right before the 4-for-1 split. And that's indeed what happened. It really didn't give any buying opportunities. This is the first real great buying opportunity that we've seen since about August. And I do think this is potentially quite a good buying opportunity for Apple. Now, as you can see, this is the consolidation here. It is consolidating where those little dotted lines are, as you can see. Let's go to the daily chart to kind of see when we might expect it to be up to this 137 level. My guess is if it stays in this channel, and this is the channel here that I'm drawing. Let's see if I can get a good drawing on the channel. Yeah, okay, quite about like that. It looks as if we're looking about mid-January is when we should expect it to be potentially at this level. Now, more than likely what's going to happen with Apple is it's going to move up and then it's going to move down and then it's going to bounce on the channel and it's going to move up. You see what I'm saying? You see how this is kind of what I'm trying to show here? It'll move down, it'll bounce on the channel, and then it'll move up. It's sort of like a curly Q, sort of like a snake here. It'll go down and then it'll go up, but it will go in within that channel. So I do expect to see it reaching the 137 level probably by about the January 20th time frame. Who knows? It's tough to say that it would be exactly that time, and this is just if it doesn't break trend here. But based on this trend currently, it's moving up, and then it should stabilize, come back down a little bit, and then move up, and so forth. So I suspect probably mid-January is the time we might see. Apple is as high as 137. Now the thing about Apple, it tends to be a little bit different because it's so widely held. It's one of the most widely held stocks out there. But I do think they're going to have a very good Christmas season, and very likely they're going to move higher. Okay. Okay. So let's see. TBIQ. Is it a buy right now? Let's look to see what we have there with TBIQ, TBIO, and that's Translate Bio. Yeah, this one was it's been very hot. I can't really give you. Let me look at the weekly chart. Yeah, this one maybe. Yeah, this one may be ready to go. Is it a buy right now? Well, it's a speculative buy right now because we've had this. We had this tremendous spike here. Oops, let me get that. There we go. We have had this spike here, and we've exceeded that level. So that's very bullish. The question, and I do like buying at higher highs. So let's look at the chart. Wow, this has got a very good checklist. 8 out of 9. I'm liking that. We also have very strong, and we do have some very good funds in there. Mutual funds are piling in. I do believe that this one looks like. It potentially is a buy now. Now it's a little bit extended. I really would like to have, bought it at about 22. It's at 27. So I do think it's a little bit extended. I'd like to see it move down a little bit. We're not at a really good buy point, but it is a very, very good stock. So I think that if it pulls back and reverses, maybe at about 25 you could buy it. You could actually buy it now, but you're buying it a little bit extended. And if you do buy it right now, it's probably going to pull lower. So before it continues moving up. So that's a little bit of a danger when it comes to Translate Bio. All right. So Apple on the weekly chart seems to be is going to explode. Well, I don't know about explode, but yeah, I do think it's going to move higher. I do think we're going to see some nice action with Apple, and I've been trying to build my position for this very reason, because I do think that we're getting close to where it possibly could break out of a pattern, and that would be very nice. It really has to move above that 137.98 area for it to really move. But it's looking good. I mean, the daily chart is very nice. It's definitely something I want to see, and we definitely have. We had this short-term low here at about 112. It looks as if we have a nice channel forming, which I really like to see. We have a nice channel forming. So that is the general. Looks like that's the general direction up for it, as long as we can continue above this level, and we did on 125, and we're at 127.88, up $6. So it's moving quite nicely today, and I do think it's still a buy. It's an 82 relative strength, which 80 is my minimum. 80 is my minimum, but we do have this line here, this indicator line here, and it is pointed upwards. So that is a very, very good sign. 82 relative strength, heavy volume right now. By the way, this is an exponential volume here. So if it moves above this red line, that means it's exponentially more. So this isn't actually. These are almost equal in terms of volume, because this is a logarithmic scale, not a absolute scale. So that's one thing you want to know. Anytime you pull above this line, that's showing heavy volume. So this is a buying spike, very, very good, and I think that hopefully we're going to go higher. That's kind of what it's looking like here. So I still think you're in a buy range for Apple. You don't want to wait a little bit too long, because I think if it moves above about 130, I think it's going to be a little bit too extended. But I think right now, I think it's a good one. Take a look at AMD. Is it still a buy right now? AMD. I tell you, I have tried to buy and sell AMD for a long time. I am not the best. There are certain stocks that I do well with. AMD is one of the stocks that I have been trying to buy forever, and it just doesn't seem like it wants to play ball. But it has pulled above the pivot. It's looking nice on this 10-day line. Is it viable here? It's a little bit extended. Really about the top of that pivot was about 94. It's not 97.12 right now, up $2.34. So it's doing well. Really the key level here, as you can see, was this high that it made at 94.28. It made it back in basically the end of August, and then it sort of has this double bottom pattern here, as I'm drawing in here, and then it's moving higher. Now, a double bottom pattern is a very, very good chart pattern. So is it still buyable here? It's a little extended. You could buy it here. I wouldn't buy a full position. I'd only buy a half position on that. But yeah, looking really good on AMD. Looking really, really good on AMD. All right, so let's take another question. Thank you for this, Mr. Patel. Yeah, what about CRM? Of course, this is Salesforce, and they just acquired Slack, which is the symbol WORK. So I don't really like their chart all that much. Let's kind of take a look at the weekly here, and it looks as if, the trend is downwards. We do have a 61 relative strength. I'm not really liking that. And we don't, this was our high here. We did have a pivot, at about 270.16, but we've pulled lower than that, and the trend is currently downwards. Not the time to be in the stock. Here's the thing. If you've lost more than 7% on this one, probably a good time to cut your losses on this one. I cannot recommend CRM right now. I think in the past this would have been a great one, but I think right now, CRM probably isn't the stock for you right now. I just don't like it in terms of the chart. So, let's see. Matt Anderson. Let's see. Jim, cancel trading is working great. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Do you also? Yes, I do. I do cover calls all the time, Matt. And I'm going to probably be doing some chart schools on that. This is a great way to trade. It's a great way to hedge your position. This is how I've been trading, for quite a few years. Very, very good way to go. But canceling does work, and it's definitely something to learn. It's a great life skill to learn. So thanks for that shout out. I really appreciate it. What are your thoughts about Apple this week? I have a 118 call due. Okay, well, did you sell it or did you buy it? If you bought it, boy, I would exercise that call. I wouldn't sell that thing away. I'd buy it. I'd exercise that call. I'd buy the 100 shares if it's a 118. I think that's a really good price. That's what I would do. That's what I do. Now, if you don't have the money, of course, you're going to have to sell it. But if you bought the call, now if you sold the call, a little bit different. But if you own that call, I would buy that call out. I would buy it because immediately when you buy it, you're gonna pick up probably, I don't know, you're gonna probably pick up some real good money on that. Maybe at 127, the 118 call will give you, it'd be worth about $900. So that's pretty darn good. I would buy the underlying stock if I had a 118 call on Apple. I think that's terrific. Thoughts on Palantir? I bought it yesterday at 28.28. Please advise hold. Okay, Palantir. I'm also in Palantir. I do have an option against it though. Covered call PLTR. I think Palantir long term is gonna do well. It's pulling back today a little bit. It's very, very volatile. That's the thing about these relatively newish stocks like this, and this has only been out really for about 3 months. They're a little bit harder because of the fact that they're just more volatile and they just aren't held by as many people. But I still like a lot of things about this. You've got a relative strength of 98, so that's really good. We do, at least for today, we do have a downward trending relative strength line. So that it's probably not the best day to buy it today, obviously, because we're down here a little bit. But it seems like it's still pretty strong. It's basically marching up this line here. This is the 10-day the 10-day line. So if we extend this 10-day line up, I do think that we're going to get some motion, at least towards the end of the month, at least to probably 30 or 32. That's kind of what it's looking like here, but who knows? If I bought it at 28.28, I would probably be a holder because we're only at 26.40. Now, here's what you want to do with that. You want to set your stop loss at basically the 21-day line. So that would be right about here. That's where you want to set your stop loss. So if I'm going to set an alert there for Palantir, basically at the 21-day line, and that is going to be basically right at about 23.64. So you don't want to let it go lower than 23.64. That's going to probably be your best stop loss. But I do think you should hold it for a while. It is trending higher, and I do think we're going to see some good action on it. Let's look at the checklist. It's fallen down a little bit on the checklist. It's still 6 out of 9, so it does meet my minimum criteria for the checklist. We do have a lot of funds that are moving in. There's 69 funds. This thing started with like 50 funds, which is absolutely incredible. And as you can see, there's a lot of funds in it. Now, why do I concentrate so much on the funds? Well, the reason I do is because it's the funds that really move a stock, not individual investors. The more funds that you have in something, the better off you're going to be, because that's showing a lot of strength. And these are the funds that are currently in it. It's just a lot of funds there. So a lot of funds, a lot of very, very good funds here, like Vanguard Total Stock Market Mid Index. So some of these are very good funds. So my recommendation on that, if I were at 28, I would set my stop loss at about 23, and I'd hold the stock and see what it does. I do think it's going to go higher. All right, hi Jim. Still holding AMD, 6% up. Nice. CrowdStrike, 8% up. Excellent. Should I keep holding them? Here's what you should do, Mr. Sid. push your stop loss up to where it's about 3% below the prices that they're currently at, and just keep pushing them up. Eventually, eventually the stock is going to come back down, but you're going to be up, and you're going to profit from that. So I think that is a, that is potentially a very, very good place to be in right now. So that's what I would do. I would set my stop losses tight on both of those and just move right up. All right. So Wendy, hey, Periscope is moving to Twitter. Really? Okay. Wow. Okay. I guess my Twitter thing is probably going to end. Oh well. But I thank you for that very much, Wendy. Hope everything is well with you up there in beautiful Calgary, Canada. All right. So, are you still holding sell or hold Moderna? Boy, you know what? The story stocks are tough. What I mean by the story stocks are stocks that are based not necessarily on on basically one thing. And of course, Moderna is one of the companies that has developed the coronavirus vaccine in record time, I might add. And it is, along with Pfizer, they're the ones that are basically in it. Now, the problem with this is, it may be a one-trick pony. Now, this company stands to make a ton of money from the coronavirus thing, but it's just a very tough. A lot of things have to happen for that to happen. It's still got a great relative strength at 99, and we definitely have a lot of acquisitions in it. And we have look at these sales; they're just going way up. In a growth stock, you always want to see sales more than profits. Obviously, eventually you want to see profits, but it's the sales that really move it. It still has a negative cash flow, so it's still essentially a non-revenue company. But look at this number of funds that have come into it. Tremendous. Here's the problem with this on a short-term basis. As you can see, it looks like it may have topped out. You can't tell here, but it may have topped out here, and it may be headed down. This is the weekly chart that we're looking at here, by the way. And for the week, it's off. Not a lot, only 71 cents. So not a whole lot. Let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, we're definitely starting to see. It looks like we're seeing a little bit of a, this has looked like sort of the top, and then now we're in this downward motion. So I think this is a tale of, buying rumor, selling news. Now that the vaccine's out, I don't think it's going to get quite the sponsorship that it is. If you're in the stock, I'd consider possibly selling it at this point. Just because I don't know if it's if it's reached its peak, at least in the short term, but that's what it's looking like to me. So that's my story, Demetrius, and I'm sticking to it. That's what it looks like to me, anyways. Let's look at Baba. Of course, Baba is one of the biggest. It is the biggest e-commerce company in China. Alibaba, people call this sometimes the Chinese Amazon, but this isn't really like Amazon because, factories sell directly to wholesalers with Alibaba. Here's the thing I don't like about Alibaba. As a matter of fact, the Chinese stocks in general, Arnold, have been under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure in China to rein in some of the exuberance, and so they may be in for some heavy weather soon. But one thing I don't like about this is that it looks like we have changed direction with Alibaba. We were moving very nicely upwards. We got here to about we came to about the end of September, and then the end of November, and then starting kind of in December. It's sort of been a downward slog. So I don't like seeing this. It's not a buy right now. It probably, if it pulls below this, it looks like it. It may pull below the 200-day line and then move higher. If that's the case, you want to buy it as it's moving, as it bottoms, and then it comes back. Right now, I don't think it's bottomed yet. I think it's probably going to come down to somewhere around, looks like about 230, and then if it bounces off at about 230, then it might be a buy. But right now, I don't think you can buy this. It's got a relative strength of 42, which is not that good. It does have increasing sales, very nice increasing sales. The checklist is also, acceptable, 6 out of 9, but it's not 9 out of 9. And it does have quite a few funds in it, but they are decreasing. So here's the thing: I might want to watch list BABA, but I would probably be steering clear of BABA at this point. It just looks like it may have gone through its run, and it may be maybe time for it to rest a little bit. I don't know. Oh, hey Arnold, this is an interesting one. Thank you so much, Arnold. I appreciate it. Hope everything's going out well for you out there in beautiful Southern California. WYNN, of course, this was the original Wynn Resorts in Las Vegas. And of course they made Steve Wynn resign, so he's no longer the chairman. But this is an interesting play. Now, it's a little bit too speculative for me right now. It's got a relative strength. It's a little bit too low. Part of the problem with these stocks right now is that they depend, of course, on Macau, which is the gambling mecca, kind of the Las Vegas of Asia, across the Pearl River there from Hong Kong. And the problem with that, of course, is that the Chinese, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, has cracked down on graft in the country, and so not as many people are going and gambling at the Wynn Casino in Macau. Wynn makes most of its money still. Even though it's based in Las Vegas, it does make an awful lot of money in China, and that hasn't been looking good. But it looks like the trend may be changing for Wynn. So let's look at it. This might be an early buy, but right now it's not. But it is trading above the 200-day. I like to see that. It's a relatively low relative strength at 69. It's been having lower quarter-over-quarter sales have been quarter-over-quarter sales have been low. This is sort of the daily chart. But as you can see, it's made this move. So I don't know. It's a strange thing. What is that? No, it's T-Rex. I've given you the wrong one. Let me go back to Wynn. WYNN. That was I made a little bit of a fat finger there. So it looks as if we do sort of have the beginning of an uptrend here. There is a pivot on it right here at at 105.93. We're at 114.10. We're up $6 today, which is a lot. I just don't know if we can buy it at this level. I just don't know, because there's a lot of factors. I would probably watch this one. It just isn't strong enough for me. 4 out of 9 on the checklist, and it does have decreasing fund ownership, so I would have to pass. Unfortunately, I like Wynn. I like the whole idea behind it, but it's just not time for it. It looks like it's a pass for me on on that. All right, so Kevin, the only histogram at the weekly histogram for Apple. Okay, well, let me come back to that in a second. Last week you missed ETHE. It moved a lot today. Thoughts? Let's take a look at ETHE. All right, ETHE. There we go. Oh, okay, this is the Grayscale Ethereum Trust. Okay, this is what this is. Ethereum is sort of the companion to Bitcoin, and a lot of people, this is a good company, Grayscale, and they have, I don't know how much of the Ethereum that they hold. This is sort of the next to Bitcoin. This is one of the biggest of the cryptocurrencies out there. It's a little bit too early for this one, unfortunately. It's just because it's just a brand new thing. I'm not dogging this at all. I'm just saying, it's just come out. So I typically like to see things come out and give me a little bit of a history. But this is not a bad history as it's come out. As you can see, it's already starting to move up. It's 69, still too low to buy it, and it's still too short a period of time. But we do have a nice trend developing there. Let's compare that to GBTC, and that's of course the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and they hold about 4% of the they hold about, let me get that right, GBTC, they hold about 4% of the Bitcoin. So let's see how they're doing today. You know what, they're up $2.65. This I still like this one a lot. I was in it, and I moved out of it, but this is I think the one you want rather than the one for Ethereum. I think this one's a little bit better. The buy point, of course, the last buy. There's not really a good place to buy this. The last buy point was at 1478. It's currently at 2326, but this is looking pretty darn good over a period of time. This is the weekly chart that we're looking at here. It's up about 2.65 for the week. Let's look at the daily. And it looks like it has bounced off of the 21-day, so that's looking good. We have a very nice, strong relative strength, 96. We also have an upward pointing relative strength line, and it's above that, so that's very, very good. By the way, this is the S&P 500, and the fact that this is trading above it shows you something very, very good. Also, we have some nice volume there. So if unfortunately, we don't really have a great place to buy this one, but I do think you could buy it on a pullback, to this 21-day line. Of course, that was about 21, but at 23, it's a little extended for me. I don't really like to see it that high, but I do think it's doable, and it does have a decent checklist. And this is an ETF too, by the way, which makes it even more impressive because typically with an ETF you have less things to, less things there. So if on the Ethereum trust and the Bitcoin trust, I think you're still better off with the GBTC. But I think they're both good. I think cryptocurrencies, is going to find a home in more and more people's portfolio going forward. And this company, Grayscale, is a good way to buy it. Looking at the at TikTok, thank you very much. Hey, thank you. Okay, let's see. When would you buy Tesla? I did make a small buy on Tesla. I have to admit, I bought a buy as it moved above 615, and then I did make a buy when it went above at 645. Probably not a good idea, but I'm trying to build my position because I do believe that once it goes beyond 650, Tesla will again move higher. But I could have been a little bit too early in that one. Yeah, it's 633. It looks like it's gonna close at about 633. So let's kind of look at the let's look at the 10-minute chart for Tesla for today. Yeah, okay, so it's hanging in there. It did pull back on the 9th. It pulled back all the way down to 570. So it's very volatile. But 630. The real level I believe that it has to move beyond to make newer higher highs is about this level here, and that is the 650 level. We're a little bit below that, so I may have been a little bit too early on my buy there. I made a buy at this level here, and then right about unfortunately right about here. That's where I bought it, and then it went right down to. But hopefully it gained some strength. This is the key level for Tesla, 650. If it moves beyond that and it has strength, I think it's probably going to go higher. I was saying that 700 by the end of the year for Tesla. I don't know if that's going to happen. We're pretty close, but it's going to have to move above. It's going to have to move pretty rapidly above 650 for that to happen. But I do think that's going to happen in the next few months. All right, what are your thoughts on Snow? This is a very interesting stock because even though it has relatively low relative strength, a lot of funds have been piling into this one, and I kind of want to show it to you. This is, of course, Snowflake. Excuse me. This is, of course, Snowflake. Let's take a look at the chart for Snowflake and see if there's any opportunities. When this came out of the box, it came out hard. As you can see, it went right up and then, boom, pulled right back down. The first buy point on this one really was at 301, and we are higher than that currently now at 328, but we are still pulling back. So let's see if we get some support at about 301 level. If we do, then we might have the beginnings of possibly a buy. But right now we can't do it because since the pivot, we've had selling. That's what this says. But here's the thing about this stock that's so fascinating. Even though we don't have a great checklist, we're only 5 out of 9 here. We have all these funds that are piling in here. We have 540 funds. This is incredible for an IPO. So I do know that going forward, this is going to be a winner, Snowflake. The question is, where can you buy it? And it's just not time yet to buy it. I want to see a little bit stronger relative strength. It's at 69. I want to see at least 80 on this. But just look at these funds. It's just tremendous how many funds are in this. It's phenomenal in terms of the funds. There's 540. I mean, there's just I can't even show you all of them, and these are great funds too, like Franklin Growth and funds like that. So I think we're just going to have to watch list it. I'm just going to have to put out an alert on this, Jerry. I really appreciate the question. I'm going to be trying to get into this issue. I'm currently not in it. I would like to be. I just haven't found a place to put my oar in the water. Well, we've come to the end of the hour, and I so appreciate everybody for taking a look today at my little show. And I did put out an action trade alert. Well, it's not an action trade alert, chart school on how to buy Apple today. I put that out a little bit earlier. You might want to take a look over at that. We do have a lot of other things too. If you want to get on the free action trade alerts, super easy to do. All you have to do is go over to subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/DallasTradingFloor, and then to get the action trade alerts, go to www.DallasTradingFloor and sign up. And of course, it's all free. Well, hopefully everybody is having a good, almost coming into the Christmas season. I got some of my Christmas cards done, so that was fun. And I'll be back tomorrow at right 2:30. And until then, happy trading.